The Switch 2 is about to have a console seller. No, not that one. Donkey Kong Bananza. It's an upcoming 3D Donkey Kong game, and it looks phenomenal. They recently did an entire Nintendo Direct covering the various mechanics in the story going on in this game, and it blew me away. Like, I am thoroughly impressed by what this game is turning out to be, because I didn't think it would appeal to me this much when they first showcased it those months ago. And there's a lot of elements when this game was first showcased, when they played it on the Nintendo Treehouse, that I'm like, it looks fine, but it might not be for me. I am now genuinely excited for this game. And there was one particular element that I do think I was wrong on. The redesign of Donkey Kong. We have a lot to talk about in this video, and let's get right on into it. So, let's address the title of the video. I was wrong about the new redesign for Donkey Kong. I've been talking about how I wasn't a fan of the overly exaggerated facial animations and his overall face compared to the older Donkey Kong style that we were accustomed to, right? It just wasn't my thing. I thought it looked overly goofy, even for Donkey Kong standards, and I just wasn't a fan of how exaggerated a lot of the facial animations were. But as part of the new Nintendo Direct, we learned more about the overall story for this game and Donkey Kong's newest companion, Pauline. And you know what? Yeah, I agree with the comparisons between this and, say, Wreck-It Ralph, which is one of my favorite movies from at least when it came out. I love that movie. And Donkey Kong Bananza absolutely does feel as if it's following in that spirit. It's not like Wreck-It Ralph pioneered that trope, right? But it's charming nonetheless, and I think it does work here. And I'm someone who hasn't played all of the 3D Mario games, but I have played 3D Mario in the past, specifically Odyssey. And one of my favorite characters from there was actually Pauline, largely because it's the music. I love the music, and Donkey Kong Bananza is leaning into that idea. And with him essentially escorting Pauline throughout the game, I think his overly goofy design and his exaggerated facial animations lends itself to his dynamic with Pauline. Someone who's a bit more serious and chasing a dream also seems to be a bit more sad, at least initially. So having this big, lovable goofball of a character with Donkey Kong just kinda fits. And you know what? Yeah, it was something that simple that managed to sway me on this particular opinion. But let's talk about the game on the whole, because from top to bottom, it just reeks of clever thinking. Let's get out of the way the one element I'm not that big of a fan of, and that's the villains. They feel like the bunny rabbits from Mario Odyssey, which wasn't that game's strength in my opinion. It's solely whatever. I'm willing for the game to just prove me wrong again, I guess. But this game absolutely feels as if it's taking more of an approach to embracing the story of what is going on, particularly when it comes to the character dynamics between Pauline and Donkey Kong. And a story-centric Donkey Kong game is not something I ever particularly expected, but you know what? I'm kind of welcoming it. Granted, it's not going to be anything like a full RPG in terms of massive cutscenes or anything like that, right? It's still going to be a 3D Donkey Kong game, but it looks like a really dang good one at that. And you know what? That's all it needs to be. And it has a really interesting premise. It's far more action focused than, say, Mario Odyssey was, and I think that appeals to me more, the more and more that I look at this game. There is a part of my mind that goes, maybe it'll get old that you can just destroy everything to be able to progress any level, depending upon how long the game is and how varied the mechanics actually are. But there's another part of my brain that goes, monkey punch. You know like what I mean? This game looks like dumb fun, but it has plenty of mechanics on top of that dumb fun to seemingly give it enough depth and personality to make it fun. The idea you can pick up blocks to essentially throw and create platforms if the material is light enough, or just punch through whatever you want, has so much possibility. The digging for loot could easily have been really annoying if we didn't have this, like, sonar mechanic to be able to locate at least the bananas we need. It seemed like a really interesting action-forward twist on the Super Mario Odyssey formula of doing a 3D, well, Nintendo platformer. And I like the fact that Donkey Kong himself has a bunch of different moves. I can just imagine how insane the tech for this game is going to be when people really start to figure it out. And you yourself, if you play, I can imagine a satisfied feeling washing over you when you manage to find out various pieces of tech and incorporate them on a more frequent basis. Or if you just find an excuse, a prime opportunity to utilize one of these tools in your kit, I can imagine that feeling really dang good. Not only do you have a bunch of skills, on top of all of the moves you have as Donkey Kong, you have all those skills which can augment your experience so you can bolster the style of play that you find most enjoyable, on top of the added effects you get with the various outfits in this game. You also get the Bananza forms, where you transform Donkey Kong into a couple of these big, powerful modes. A giant gorilla that's just way stronger, which looks awesome by the way. You turn into a giant zebra, which allows you to run on water, or you can fly and become an AC-130 with the ostrich form. This game just reeks of, hey, we're going to give you plenty of tools, feel free to sort it out how you want to utilize these tools to progress this level and to explore this level. And you know what? Taking all of that on top of the idea that the game is more action forward, this kind of appeals to me more than if they had just announced a new 3D Mario game. There's just so much in this game, dude. There's just so much. There's a whole 3D editing program just in this game as well. I'm not sure what practical effect it has for the overall game, but just having it as an option is a cool idea. I can only imagine what some people are going to be able to create with this. I like the fact the game is likely throwing more things at you than what you would personally probably interface with or utilize frequently, because it allows for people to do what they want. If you don't like 3D editing, and you don't want to interact with that, unless they just force that for some reason, which I kind of doubt they will, you can just probably ignore it. If you don't want to do a particular jump, just go find some, light materials and form your own platform. There's a lot of cool ideas in this game. And on top of all of that, this game has 2D minigames, or just levels, very similar to the 2D levels from Super Mario Odyssey. But they feel way more inspired by Donkey Kong Country. Well, because it's a Donkey Kong game, right? It just makes sense. But they look fun and interesting all by themselves as well. Every element of this game just looks charming. It looks enjoyable and makes me want to play it. Let's talk about the overall visuals. Yeah, it's not like the most cutting-edge graphics of all time, but I don't go to Nintendo games looking for realistic graphics or anything like that. And the art style they have going here, I think it looks good personally. I like it. And I like how varied the environments are, even though we're just going deeper and deeper into this planet's core. What a cool overall setting that the deeper you go, who knows what new biome you might discover down there. Yeah, and on top of all of that, the music is absolutely god tier. Like, the amount of music we heard in that direct itself is incredible, and some of those songs, I wasn't expecting a slow, emotional, beautiful song when I was watching the Donkey Kong Bananza direct. This game arguably looks like Nintendo at their best. A beautiful, charming game that knows what it is and embraces that identity. Another really cool idea that I may never interface with, but I can appreciate the fact that it's there, with co-op, the other player controls Pauline and can use, vocal blasts, almost as if they're projectiles. What a cool idea! And the game share functionality is neat. Will I ever particularly utilize it? No. If I ever do get this game, I would play it single player, but I can appreciate the fact that it's there, and that there will be some people who utilize that functionality to have a bunch of fun with it. You know, so long as it's actually good, but it looked good in the direct at least. I think it goes to show how many people, myself included, viewed that direct for Donkey Kong Bananza in a positive light when one of the first sentiments you hear and see on the internet in response to it is, how is this not the launch title for the Switch 2? Because this game looks incredible. It looked good before, don't get me wrong, it looked fine, but that direct, I think, was able to showcase the depth the game can have, and also the charm the story will possibly bring to the table. And I know some people are talking about the Donkey Kong timeline, and where does it fit, and does it break the lore and stuff like that. Personally speaking, I'm not someone who cares about the lore of Donkey Kong that much. It's interesting to hear about, but I don't know, I just really like the premise of this game. The mechanics look fun, the story looks charming, way more so than I thought it was going to be. The world design looks beautiful, the music sounds varied and awesome, and as a package deal, it got me to appreciate the new redesign for Donkey Kong in a way that I didn't think I was ever going to. Because I think it fits with what they're going for this game specifically. And I think with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and help support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, your opinions on Donkey Kong Bonanza. Do you like the looks of it? Do you hate the looks of it? Let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions and hear your perspectives. And what is your favorite part from that direct, or from what we have seen so far? I'd love to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions and hear your perspectives. Stay safe, have a great day, go play some video games, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye everybody, until we meet again.